Welcome back to the Boat Parade, talking all things Tampa Bay. Today, we are talking about what we thought was going to be
an easy dub
in Pittsburgh. And from the very beginning, it was very evident that it was not going to be.
It's the steel curtain, man. The steel curtain got us.
From the very first drive of Leonard Fournette getting stuffed for 1 yard, incomplete pass, it was like, okay, something's going on. And then just everything throughout the game seemed to get worse as things went on. Then they were like, Brady was at Robert Kraft's wedding last night to his sugar baby or whatever. Then they're like, oh, here's Brady yelling at his team on the sidelines, which may have been necessary because is the offensive line the problem? Is it Todd Bowles? Is it Byron Leftwich? What's the issue? What's going on in Tampa Bay?
I mean, you see stuff like that all the time with quarterbacks and their O-lines. People need to calm down about that. But, going into this game, it's interesting. So Pittsburgh actually were playing a lot of their second line and even some of their practice squad. They've been struggling with some injuries. So even more so, as you dive into this, it gets worse and worse.
Yeah. To start the game, they were like, "Hey, 5 or 6 of the Steelers secondary is not playing today. They're going to be running a lot of their second string or practice squad." Then on the first drive, they're like incomplete pass, and then it is progressively worse on offense throughout the game. So yes.
And if you watch the game, you kind of you felt like as a Bucs fan that it must have been drastically statistically like we were getting smashed by Pittsburgh. But if you break this game, it was like 49-51 split down the middle statistically, very close passing yards, within 5 rushing yards. I mean, everything, conversions, the conversion percentage, the conversion rate on third downs, we were 4 for 13 on third down conversions. I mean, there were a lot of things that maybe were bad for us, but Pittsburgh had kind of a mirror image game, which is why you see that score 20-18. It's not that the game was a terrible performance if you compare the statistics. It was just, but it looks like bad and bad.
It was like it was
like two
sucky
down the
teams. Middle, all the way down to time of possession was like 2 seconds off from each other.
2 seconds off. It was like 29 minutes and 58 seconds Steelers and 30 minutes and 1 second Bucs. But the game, even though it was even and even though the score was within 2, After watching just the Bucs, I don't know I guess as a fan you have potential. You just think they're going to do something great. It was awful.
It really was, and it was that expectation of these are the Steelers who entered this game 1-4, were playing terrible with their new quarterback, Kenny Pickett, getting his first start there at home. So and all the secondary is out, so it's like all these expectations are high, and then they fell flat on their face. And really the only person on the team that did well was special teams as far as the unit of snapper, holder, kicker, Ryan Suckup.
Ryan Suckup had the sucks. For some reason it was like, suck it, Ryan, suck it. No, Ryan Suckup was the highest point scorer, and you were perfect. Congratulations to the long 54, 4 for 4, 12 points for Ryan Suckup. And it was a great performance by him and him alone. Other than that, Kenny Pickett gets injured, and so then Stoogie Boogie, what's his name?
Mitch Trubisky.
Mitch Trubisky comes in. I bet he makes pierogies at his family gatherings. Anyway, Mitch Trubisky, he comes in and throws for like 150 yards. He had a fine game. And then you have Cameron Brate getting injured. Now, obviously, the whole stadium was quiet, which I did appreciate the respect. It's not typical of Steelers fans. But they were quiet. Nobody likes to see an injured player. And we have another video about that. The link can go right here. If you want to see that. So, obviously, the Bucs have some injuries. Julio Jones, Kyle Rudolph, now Cameron Brate. These are definitely struggles for the Bucs. But the main issue is that Brady offensive line relationship. Brady's the greatest of all time. This may be the worst O-line in the NFL. You put those two together, you have some serious problems.
And it's just an experience level thing. Obviously, Luke Gadicke, left guard, he's a rookie.
He's trying, though, man.
Man, he's trying.
He may be the best one out of all of them, and he's trying, man.
Robert Hainsey at the center position. Man, there's some trouble there. You could sum it up into this. Obviously, high expectations. Tom Brady, 12-3 against the Steelers in his entire career. You think he's going to steamroll over them. There's a crucial point in the game where they need to get a first down. They do a QB sneak, and Tom Brady's driving his feet and doesn't go anywhere at all. It was just stuffed by the front 3 center of the offensive line, guard, center, guard. which is where you should be able to get like movement.
I don't know what they thought was going to happen. The O-line was just like, if we just stand here, he'll just dive over everybody, do a 10-foot jump, and just dive and roll. I mean, I don't know what they thought. You got to push and get your quarterback in the end zone. Didn't happen. You got to make space for your running backs inside so they can run the ball. Didn't happen. Now, coming into this game, the Buccaneers ran the ball the least of any team in the NFL. 33% of the time they run the ball. This leaves a very predictable team to play defense against, to where you have the Steelers with a bunch of injuries just blowing you the heck up. They read our pass plays so well. That play, you'll probably put the clip in here, but we had an opportunity at a touchdown. It was an awful kind of set of events that happened. We had up 2-1. We could have scored. Anyway, they go for the touchdown middle. Chris Godwin. Normally, Brady Godwin, it's a great relationship. Not so this game. And they go for it.
They were off.
And their defense was all over him. Not even a chance. And that was the case throughout the whole game. Brady had at least four terrible throws that I saw, a couple wide open missed opportunities. So I can't put this all on the O-line. I think it's going to be split down the middle. I think you have some problems in the O-line, some problems in Brady. People are talking about the divorce getting to his head. I understand people saying that because obviously going through a dramatic event in your personal life does affect how you play, but this is the greatest of all time. He's had a lot of issues gone on over the last 20-something years. He's played great football. I don't think that's the problem. I think he's got a relationship problem with his O-line. They're garbage, and I'm not saying that to disrespect them.
Jeez.
But when your job is to protect your quarterback and people are like throwing him around and getting through and adding one guy to blitz. So if they're doing like, I don't know, a cover 6, one guy comes and blitz and they're still getting to your quarterback. I mean, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah, that was the story of the game. Was at halftime he was sacked once, he had a sack fumble once, and then Brady was knocked down 4 other times.
And he had to drop back 22 times?
That was just in the first half. So you have being terrible on third down on both sides of the ball was really what it came down to. You can't go 4 for 14 on third downs. That's a terrible conversion rate. And then the defense giving up, they were 7 for 15 on third downs, I believe. But it seemed like all 7 of those were on third and super long.
Yeah, it was like 3rd and 18 into the red zone. You know, hey, let's just like run a nobody covers anybody and see what happens.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talking about how, oh, this is Byron Leftwich's fault for calling terrible plays. Oh, this is Coach Todd Bowles' fault for being terrible thing. We want Bruce Arians back. All of this.
You could blame Julio Jones for having knee problems. I mean, might as well just blame everybody.
And I could see people getting some merit to the fact of, hey, Byron might be to blame for some things. Like you said, it looked like these backup and practice squad secondary for the Steelers, where it's plastered on the supposedly best wide receiving core in the NFL.
Yeah.
Why can't anybody get open? They would show the behind the offensive line view of the game, and then you have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Cameron Brate. You have Leonard Fournette out of the backfield, and they're all plastered with black and yellow, and they can't even get open. Where's Tom Brady supposed to throw the ball? Why can't you come up with a route combination that's supposed to beat these things and see what happens?
Well, I'm going to get a little bit on that flip side. I'm going to get a little bit controversial here. It really frustrates me when people go after the coaches after a performance of the players like that.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying.
You got wide open throws that Tom Brady throw 1.5 foot low.
Man, the terrible one was that one with Godwin on the third down where he was wide open and just threw it in the ground.
And he threw it in the ground. And then he had another one where he overlet him. Godwin slowed down. He was open, so he slowed down in the pocket so that he could then drive down the field. Brady just freaking threw it 10 yards in front of him like he was running a sprint. There's a miscommunication there. Don't put this on Byron Leftwich. His offense put the ball 2nd and 1 with an opportunity to score.
Second and a foot.
2nd and a foot to score. So don't start talking about this. They had more than enough opportunities with the way that this offense was ran to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had opportunities in the red zone. They were 1 for 4 in the red zone. You can't put that on offensive coordinator. You cannot put that on a head coach.
I 100% agree. I think the relationship between Brady and the offensive line has to get somewhere. You asked me a question today. And I think this could be very telling. You said, hey, if there's one person that the Bucs have that's banged up, that's hurt, that could make the most impact coming back, who would that be? And I maybe half a second, I hesitated and said immediately Ryan Jensen.
Well, because the most important person on offense other than the quarterback is the center.
Absolutely.
He is that glue guy. He's that guy that puts the O-line together. That O-line's a very important family. If you're not if you didn't play football or you don't have an appreciation for the way football functions, you just see a bunch of guys out there running around, where's the football? But that offensive line and that relationship from that center to that quarterback is so important that losing Ryan Jensen at the beginning of the season was such a blow to the Bucs. Now, we knew it was going to be difficult. He was a center at UCF. We know how difficult it is to move past that relationship being lost. But if the Bucs are actually going to make the playoffs and they're actually going to be a Super Bowl contender, you've got to have some solutions. Now, I heard Ryan Jensen could. At the beginning, they said 4 to 6 weeks. So here we are, week 6.
No news. Sometimes no news is good news. We'll see what happens.
Maybe he runs out the tunnel and then it's lit. And you know what? People stop talking about Brady's divorce and we can cheer on Mike Jensen. Ryan Jensen. Who am I thinking of? Mike Evans. Anyway.
No, I agree with you. As far as the coaching standpoint goes, I think that people need to calm down a little bit.
Man, Coach Todd's amazing.
Coach Todd is amazing. I think that there should have been some more accountability held to Tom Brady for the whole, the 2 days before the game going to the wedding.
I get it, but who can hold Tom Brady accountable? He already won a Super Bowl with him.
I understand.
It's like who's going to – now, I will say Coach Todd, I don't like when his team is absolutely Sacagawea. I don't like seeing him sitting on the sideline like everything's fine. Coach Todd's such a respectable guy. I think he's being cautious because it's his first head coaching position with Tampa. But I don't like seeing people kind of come off failure after failure after failure, and they're showing Coach Todd, and he's just kind of sitting there, just kind of watching. At some point, you take your clipboard and go beat somebody over the head and say, you go out there and play football.
That is just some people's coaching style. Is that more relaxed than other people are Nick Saban and absolutely lose a gasket when they're ahead by 50 points?
Well, so far there's a difference between Nick Saban's performance and Coach Todd's performance. We're going to leave that alone. Anyway, we'll see how the Bucs do coming up on another great week of Bucs football. And please comment, like, subscribe. Comment any issues maybe you saw that we didn't point out with the Bucs, things that we can talk about here. And moving forward, 3-3, it's not bad. This is actually the year where the most teams are 3-3 right now in the history of the NFL. I think
it's not panic time yet.
It's not panic time, but one more loss and we could get ourselves in are we going to make the playoffs conversation. So drop a comment, let us know what you think may be a problem, and we'll see you guys soon on the Boat Parade.
You know you can look me in the eye. It's all because of Jesus. He the reason I'm alive. I live by faith, by grace. You know that I ain't gotta strive. They told me tone it down.